Welcome to Honeybee. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. For 14 years, Ruby and I built what I believed was a steady, lasting marriage. We first crossed paths in our late 20s, tied a knot when I turned 31, and spent more than a decade moving through the everyday ups and downs that come with sharing a life. There was never a moment that made me doubt our future. Like any couple, we faced our share of rough spots, but nothing that ever felt destructive. I held a management role at a logistics company, while Ruby worked for a pharmaceutical firm. She earned a good salary, and we split the expenses fairly. Together, we lived comfortably. We owned a 3-bedroom house, and within the first 12 years of our marriage, we managed to pay off the mortgage entirely. We had savings tucked away, carried no major debts, and treated ourselves to modest vacations each year. We weren't living lavishly, but we also never struggled. Everything began to shift after our 13th anniversary. I received a long-awaited promotion to Regional Operations Director, a role I'd been striving toward for years. It felt like a reward for every late night, every trip, every sacrifice I'd made for my career. The position came with a significant salary bump, around 30% more than I was making, plus quarterly bonuses, stock options, and full family health coverage, including dental, vision, and even a wellness stipend. For the first time in our marriage, money wasn't something that required careful thought. We'd always been stable, but now we were genuinely secure. When I shared the news, Ruby seemed proud. She hugged me, congratulated me, and said she knew I deserved it. But less than 2 weeks later, she brought something up that changed everything. One evening, after dinner, we sat in the living room. She had her laptop open but wasn't focused on it. I could sense she had something to say. She started by admitting she felt burnout, that the corporate routine was draining her, and she no longer found any real purpose in her work. She said she wanted to step away to figure out what she truly wanted to do with her life. Something more flexible, something that wouldn't exhaust her the way her job did. When I asked what she was thinking, she didn't have a concrete plan. She mentioned maybe starting a small business or exploring wellness coaching, something she'd always been curious about. Mostly, she just wanted breathing room, time to reset without the constant pressure of a 9 to 5. I thought about it carefully. We talked it over several times. I calculated things in my head. With my new salary and our minimal expenses, we could easily live without her income. The house was paid off. We didn't have kids. Our lifestyle wouldn't suffer. She had worked hard for years. Maybe she deserved this break. So I told her she could quit if that's what she needed. A month later, she resigned. At first, things genuinely seemed to improve. She looked more rested, smiled more often, even cooked dinner a few times a week. She said she felt lighter, free from the stress that used to cling to her after work. I thought maybe this was exactly what she needed, a chance to step away and rediscover herself. But as weeks turned into months, I noticed something unsettling. She wasn't pursuing anything. No business planning, no courses, no research. Instead, her days began to revolve around a completely different kind of routine. Endless socializing. She was constantly meeting friends, hosting get-togethers, or planning the next outing. The group she spent the most time with consisted of women I'd met in passing, some married to acquaintances of mine, others single or divorced. They all seemed to live similar lifestyles, and Ruby blended in seamlessly. At first, I didn't mind. She'd spent years under stress. If she wanted to unwind, I wasn't going to hold that against her. I figured eventually she'd settle into something more focused. But that never happened. 2 to 3 times a week, our house became the gathering spot. I'd come home from work to find her in the kitchen with a few friends, wine glasses on the counter, cheese boards laid out, laughter echoing through the house. Other nights, she'd be out late, coming home smelling like perfume and cocktails. I started to question what doing her own thing really meant, because from where I stood, it looked like she was living in a permanent vacation. But I stayed quiet. She seemed happy and wasn't asking me for anything beyond what I was already providing financially. So I let it slide. That became our new normal. Then came a Tuesday evening that changed everything. I left work earlier than usual. I've been pulling 12-hour shifts all week, and with a big meeting coming up, my boss told me to go home and rest. I didn't argue. I was exhausted. When I pulled into the driveway around 6, I noticed 3 cars lined up along the curb. Ruby's friends. Another gathering. I sat in my car, debating whether I had the energy to walk into that noise. I wasn't in the mood for forced small talk, so I parked down the street and slipped into the back door, hoping to avoid everyone. The house smelled of garlic and wine. Their voices carried from the living room. I recognized a few, but didn't try to place them all. I went straight to the bedroom, changed into sweatpants and a t-shirt, and lay down, planning to rest until they left. But the walls were thin. I could hear every word. At first, it was idle chatter, background noise I ignored. Then the conversation shifted. One woman with a high-pitched voice started talking about her husband's recently divorced friend. She admitted, half laughing, that she'd started finding him attractive. Instead of shutting it down, the group laughed. Someone teased her about it. Someone else mentioned divorce glow-ups. Then Ruby's voice cut through the noise. Please, that's nothing. Even my husband's best friend tried me once, and honestly, it was the best outside experience ever. Laughter exploded around the room. My heart slammed against my chest. I sat up, struggling to breathe, replaying her words to make sure I'd heard right. I wanted to believe I'd misunderstood, but the laughter confirmed it. They all knew exactly what she meant. I sat there in shock, staring at the floor. My best friend and I went back to college days. He'd stood by my side at our wedding. We'd shared countless moments over the years, trips, games, late-night beers. I trusted him. I trusted her. And now I was listening to my wife casually admit she'd slept with him. After that, everything around me blurred. I barely registered the rest of their conversation. When the house finally grew quiet and Ruby came to bed, she was surprised to see me home. She kissed my forehead, said goodnight, and fell asleep like nothing was wrong. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, unable to say a word. Confronting her then would have only led to denial, excuses, or some half-truth I couldn't prove. For the next few days, I watched. I didn't confront her, but I paid attention to how she moved, how she spoke, how she used her phone. Nothing seemed out of place. Then one Friday night, when she fell asleep watching a video, I picked up her phone for the first time. I scrolled through her messages, group chats with friends, a few conversations with men I didn't know. Flirty, nothing explicit, but enough to sting. Then I opened my best friend's contact. Nothing. No evidence. I stared at the blank thread, then typed, "I've been thinking about last time." My hands shook as I sent it. A few minutes later, his reply appeared. "Me too." My stomach turned. I sent another message. "Let's do it again." Almost instantly, the typing dots appeared. His response, "Okay, same place." I took screenshots of everything and placed the phone back as if nothing happened. Ruby slept beside me, breathing softly, completely unaware. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I left before she woke up. I sat in a coffee shop for hours, trying to clear my head. Then I called a divorce attorney. He'd been practicing family law for over 2 decades. I told him everything. What I'd overheard, what I'd found, how long we'd been married, our finances, the fact that she hadn't worked in months. He listened carefully and explained my options. I didn't care about making it messy. I just wanted out. He prepared the papers. 2 weeks later, Ruby was served. That evening, she confronted me in the living room, the documents on the coffee table. She asked what was happening, so we could talk it out. That involving lawyers was insane. I stayed calm. I looked her in the eye and said, "I heard you that night. I just wanted to be sure you weren't joking." Her face went pale. She tried to laugh it off, claimed she'd been drunk and joking. She spoke faster, more desperately, trying to convince me I was overreacting. Then I said quietly, "Call him, right now," on speaker. She froze. After a long silence, she broke. She confessed. She said it happened once. She said it was a mistake, begged me to forgive her, promised counseling and change. I listened. I didn't yell. I didn't even interrupt. And then I told her it was too late. The divorce took 8 months. She fought hard. Her lawyer painted me as an emotionally distant husband who worked too much. They claimed she'd sacrificed her career for me and deserved a large financial settlement. I didn't argue. I let my lawyer present the evidence, the messages, the timeline, my testimony. It was undeniable. But 14 years of marriage carried legal weight. Her financial dependence on me did too. Under state law, she was entitled to a substantial portion of what we built together. I paid the settlement and temporary support without fighting. I didn't want to drag it out. I just wanted to be free. 6 months have passed since the divorce was finalized. I still live in the house. She moved into an apartment closer to her friends. I haven't spoken to her or to my best friend since. He sent one long apology text saying he never meant for it to happen. I blocked him. Sometimes I think about whether I missed warning signs or trusted too easily, but it doesn't matter now. I gave Ruby everything a partner should: support, space, security, trust. When she wanted to leave her job, I backed her completely. I thought I was giving her peace. I didn't realize I was giving her the freedom to forget what partnership means. Financial security didn't change her. It revealed her. Looking back, I see clearly. She wasn't resting. She was indulging. I was funding a life where respect slowly disappeared. And once respect is gone, nothing else can hold a marriage together. I don't regret the divorce. I don't regret the money I lost. I'd rather lose wealth than lose myself. I'm rebuilding now, working less, sleeping better, surrounding myself with people I trust. I no longer carry the quiet weight of something broken but unspoken. I don't know what Ruby's doing now, and I don't care to know. What I do know is this: when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. I just wish I'd listened to that truth the night I first heard it.